VC Jones, Venture Capital.
Venture Cafe, but yeah. So
is it like venture capital?
Sort of.
Well, in a way,
yeah.
it's more like a networking event. But hi guys.
What's up?
It's
Hi,
recording.
Mom.
So as you can see, this is not the usual setup that we have for interviews. We usually, just talk to people. But today we have a special guest right here. So
A very special guest.
yeah, honestly, yeah. So if you guys don't know him, this is Taylor from the Gallery Philadelphia. So if you could say hi and give us a background of who you are, because maybe some people don't know you, but
Okay. So I'm Taylor Mosley on Instagram, Taylor Genius. I'm a photographer, content creator, visionary, mentor, but I also am one of the co-founders of the Gallery Philly, which is a creative incubator for photographers, artists, designers, makeup artists. A place where people can come and kind of create on their own terms. I should use that as a create on their own terms.
that was a good line.
Yeah, so I'm firstly a photographer, but a little bit of everything. Sometimes you might catch me sweeping the floor.
Hey man, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Get
So you mentioned that you are a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a little background on how you got started in that?
So I first started taking pictures when I was leaving my previous artistic venture of being in music as a producer and making beats. I guess you could say, was tired of that.
Okay.
And said I need to do something different. Had the opportunity to just take some pictures for fun. Found out that I liked it, and it just kept moving from there. And I went through that first year trying every single type of photography you could think of. I might have shot some horseshoes or something, just anything you could think of. Fake plants, real plants, bottles, needles.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so just trying to find your
just trying to find.
In a way.
Well, I mean, part of it was trying to find what was gonna make me money at the time. But what I really liked about it was it like the composition, was it my eye, was it the lighting, all that stuff. And that's something I'm actually still trying to figure out.
Okay.
But I'm a little more, advanced in my thought process now. That's how I started though.
Okay. So what would you say were some of your early struggles then as a photographer, and let's say now as a photography studio owner?
So I didn't know what I was doing. And technically I still don't know what I'm doing.
You never figured it out.
But like the level of like knowing what I'm doing, I'm a little further up now in the like I'm just trying stuff, area. But then it was just like, okay, so I have a camera. I didn't know the difference between lenses. I didn't know the difference between what these little buttons on the side of my camera did. So, information was big. It was just like, I don't know. I'm going to just try it. Like now looking back, some of the lighting situations I had, I don't even understand why. what would have possessed me to do it. But I did it, so early struggles were knowing what you were doing, like theoretically, actively, and then just getting people to take you seriously.
Okay.
It's always been, since I've been in the industry for 4 years, and probably before that, it's always been a bunch of photographers. So the question is always, why should I shoot with you? And in the beginning, I don't have the content to step on anybody else's, artistic flow. So it was like, hey, the girl I work with, hey, you want to take pictures? You can just bring some clothes from the house and see what we can do. So, quality over quantity. My first year, I shot 367 people. I shot more people than nowadays in a year.
Yeah.
That's what it boiled down to. I mean, no, I didn't shoot every single day. It's just like, generally there were more than that. One day, I'll take you guys to the original first studio. There's a door in there, which is now the door to my dog's room, that has about over 400 signatures. And that was like the first year of me. First year, and like there's some stuff after that, but I mean, like in the first year, like over 360 something.
And how long ago was this?
4 years ago.
4 years
4
ago.
years ago.
4 years ago, maybe 4.5.
2015. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
No, so I was gonna say, so you mentioned, that as a young photographer, you didn't know what you were doing, you didn't have the information, or it was just hard for you to get a grasp of everything, right?
Mhm.
Would you say is that something that a lot of photographers in the Philadelphia area go through?
Yeah, and then I think what happens is we start to masquerade inexperience as creativity. So like as an excuse for not necessarily knowing what we're doing, we just go, yeah, I'm being creative.
I'm having fun.
I'm just doing whatever. Like just because you don't like it doesn't mean somebody else is gonna like it. But it's really just our inexperience and understanding or lack of wanting to go to the next level. Because when my work started to get better was when I challenged myself to learn something that I didn't know, which meant I could actually fail at it. But as a beginning creative, it's like, yeah, you know, inexperience and just trying to like figure things out, how many pictures to take, and not just with the camera, even dealing with people. You know, how you talk to clients, which is something that I'm still learning how to do. Professionalism. Because, you know, like as people, we want a certain amount of professionalism. Like when we buy stuff or we do stuff, I feel like in the creative field, people tend to throw professionalism to the side.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't really do that. But it has to be on both sides. It's just as much the job of the photographer to be professional, talking to myself first, you know, 3 fingers pointing at one person, 3 pointing back at me.
Mm-hmm.
Me first, as a professional, you know, you have to be aware of like your shortcomings in communication with your clients. But clients have to also learn how to understand the creative climate. Like, just because you did a photo shoot yesterday doesn't mean you're going to get your photos tomorrow. You may want communication. You may think that your photographer is supposed to answer your every phone call, your every text message right when, you know, you send it. But some of these people are busy. Some people take a couple of days. Some people don't even get to see your stuff. I know photographers that don't even check their own Instagram. You know, like, it's real. So, like, in the beginning, the smaller version of that is somebody doesn't understand how much editing is.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we want like 30 edits. And you just started as a photographer, so you know you charge $50, you know, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna just, oh, that's a lot, but I'm gonna do it anyway. No, you shouldn't have did it. You should. We didn't know though. You didn't know. Like a lot of us end up in that perpetual situation of giving out 200 images and editing a whole bunch of stuff for cheap because we didn't understand it. That's not necessarily like you don't have to do that. You can set your own rules, and some people are gonna book you, some people aren't. Information, man. Information, tact as a business professional, and then lastly to that point, realizing whether you're doing this for business or you're just doing it for fun. Because then there's a different vibe.
Yeah.
If you're just doing it as a hobby or you're doing it because you just like taking pictures, some of that stuff doesn't apply. But if you say, as a photographer, I want this to be a business, then you gotta.
You gotta think as a business.
Yeah.
Because you're not just a creative person, a creative professional. You are a business.
Right, and that's the difference. There's people that are creators, and then there's people that are entrepreneurs. There's a difference. You're a creative entrepreneur, and that's a different than just like creative. You can't really just like say you're a creative and say you're an entrepreneur. You have to know how to mold the two together. Like creative entrepreneurs, that means that there's a part of this that's business, that's admin, that's front office that you gotta kind of deal with. If you're just a creative, you might not have to deal with some of the yellow and the red tape that come up in situations. I got a photographer that said to me, I got a job, but I don't really need a check. Like, I don't need a check from photography, so I just want to shoot what I want to shoot. I don't want to have to, actually answer client emails. I want to just shoot people I want to shoot so I can get my edits out when I want to get them out. That's perfectly fine. It might sound like a foreign concept to some people, but if you're not doing it for money, you're doing it for passion, then do that. Then you're just a creative. You're not a creative entrepreneur, and that's fine. You don't have to be. People have this misconception that you have to take on the whole mantle. People ask me, oh, as a photographer, how do I become a creative director? Why do you need to be? Mm-hmm. Is that something you actually want to do, or you feel like you need to do it to validate yourself as a photographer? You don't need to. But sorry, I got a little.
No, that's fine. So touching back on professionalism and just knowing how to talk to people and how people should perceive you as a professional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that Instagram is hurting that in a way? Because nowadays I can just DM you, you're super accessible, like yo, I want to shoot. Would you say that Instagram is hurting the creative?
Hurting or helping?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously a fine line and a balance you have to try to find.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that hurts the creative in the sense that like accessibility, even in like the fairy tale way of thinking, is you're right there. If you posted yesterday, you should probably answer my DM. That's just what people think.
Yeah.
Now, let's take that as an example. There's apps like Hootsuite. There's apps like I can't think of another on the top of my head, but there's apps where you can schedule your posts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So technically, I could have shot something a month ago, had it scheduled to post today.
Yes.
I was never on Instagram.
True.
Instagram with the creator factor that they added to like your profile that you can become a creator on Instagram. It splits your messages into 3 sections. Most people don't even know that. So like you can send me a message. If it's not in my main messages, I'm not gonna see it.
Yeah.
I gotta click over to my general, click over to something else. People have no like concept of the fact that like, yeah, I saw him like a photo, so he had to see my message.
Right.
Or like I did this. I'm just saying like people. It's hard because I don't think it's one person's fault. I don't think it's like necessarily one side. It's like, but what would you do with a business? Like, what would you really do with like a business? You would probably send an email, request a refund, or whatever. Like, go through the steps. If you're really unhappy with work, if you really don't feel like this person got to you or whatever, go through the proper channels. Like the stuff that's not social media. Like I don't like it. It would make sense to me if like people use Instagram as a supplement for like websites and stuff like that. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But as the end all be all, it's hurting us. It's hurting us because with the way the algorithms and stuff change for certain people, how much is that hurting somebody's business? I have a friend in New York. She's one of my favorite people. If y'all ever start doing like phone interviews and cool stuff like that, y'all gotta reach out to her. She has spent like 6 months off of Instagram. Dope photographer, but she's in like papers and art exhibits, like physical things. She's like, I want a physical presence in the world, like not just like an online one.
Yeah.
The online one is it can fade away and all of that. I want something that like when I'm walking down looking at the newsstand, oh that's me in the paper, mom. Like how many photographers can literally say like I've been in like a real magazine or been in the city paper? Of course,
Yeah.
but they're like. I'm just saying, like, our goals have changed. Like, can I get 1,000 likes on Instagram?
Yeah.
Like, is my photo going to go viral? It could.
Yeah.
But now now you Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And so they're like, yo, what would it say if you was like in a community paper, you know, up and coming black photographer, up and coming female, like all of that type of stuff. Like these should be goals that we have too. So it hurts because we make it like our end all be all. And then photographers go into our like mental health point of view. Like they on Instagram going down the rabbit hole like, oh my gosh, this person's work got 2,000 likes, I can't get 20. You know, and it becomes this thing where you're just like, oh wow, I'm depressed now. Because I only got 20 likes. And I put my heart and soul into these photos. And it's like, hey, where else did you put them? Did you print them out? Like, have a gallery. Like, you know.
Do you showcase it to people?
Exactly.
Do you have like prints for sale, stuff like that? Yeah.
So, you know, there's that.
No, yeah. But no, I feel like in the past, like, 10 years, since like Instagram came out, like the creative game has changed a lot.
Yeah.
You as someone that has been in the game for about 4 or 5 years, where do you see the creative game going with social media? Or
I would hope we would use it more as the tool it's really there for. Like use it efficiently. Think about what Facebook was supposedly created to do, connect people. Like at its core, just connect people. So if Facebook owning Instagram now is following the trend, it's still to connect people. Yeah. Even if it's connect business with consumer. Like it's still connecting. So that's the job. Like go on Instagram, expand your community, connect with a photographer that you can't walk up to up in the street because this person living in Ukraine. Yeah. You know, and get the information. As creatives, use the platform for what it's supposed to be there for, not for like stunting reasons and like where my likes at. Because the dopest people on Instagram don't really have likes. The dopest people on Instagram probably don't even follow like 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dopest creative that we know may have like 1 million followers, but they follow 2,000 people because they don't even want all that in their timeline. They don't even care to see all the comings and goings. We need to think about it as what is in our timeline, what is in our network that's going to help us get to the next level. You know, and that's what we should use. Stuff like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, I can see Twitter being your vent spot. Like if you need to vent about something.
Right.
But even that is still about connecting. Use all of these things that's connecting and gaining a network instead of like, here is me. It's become like a showcase of sorts, and it's like models don't have model portfolios, they have Instagrams.
Yeah.
Photographers don't have websites, they have Instagrams. Photographers don't have photo books, they have Instagrams. Makeup artists don't print their pictures out and put them up on the wall, or I don't really know what a makeup artist's portfolio would look like, but they don't have that, they have Instagram.
So if Instagram was to go away.
Right. Now, the likelihood of that isn't very high.
Oh, definitely not.
But, again, Instagram gets sick. I remember the day Instagram got sick, I didn't even know Instagram was sick. I was like, what's going on? Why is everybody up in uproar? Like, they on Twitter like, well, I guess I'm here today. Oh, what's going on? Like, Instagram is sick. How could they?
Yeah.
Wow. Shows how much time. And you know what? I put that, I know everybody's got on their iPhone now. What is it? The phone guard thing, the thing that tells you how much time you spend on specific apps on your phone.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. The first time I saw that thing said you spent 15 hours on this app in like 2 days or something like that. And I was like, oh no. No. This is too much. My usage might be like 8 hours a week now.
Okay. It's not bad.
And it may be that. Sometimes it's 5. Like, I don't even really have time to look at my phone. So, you know, like, generally speaking, like, we need to use it as what it is. And if I was spending 18 hours networking, though,
oh, it would be great. Yeah, it would be great. But,
right, it would be
yeah,
great.
But I feel like
But we, oh, let me see. Ooh, look at Keisha. Ooh, all right, girl, I see. You know, like, that's most of what you, he telling the lie. That mean not true. Like, that we, you know, we going down a rabbit hole of stuff that's not necessarily helpful. And it's not helping brands, it's not helping businesses, it's not even helping like your just mental day to day. Like you at a job you don't really like and you see one of your friends posting that they on vacation. Now you mad.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, those type of things are, I mean they would happen anyway, but it's so accessible now. Like you wouldn't have known that unless your friend texted you back in the day. Or unless you like she sent you a picture to your phone. You wouldn't have Instagram to be this thing that shows everything. But you know, if we start using it the way it's supposed to be used, and then get websites, you know, get your website, put your website together, create an identity, print out some photos, go to things, be more social. You know, I can't wait for 2020 because I feel like it's going to be the year where we're in rooms that we normally would have just hit on Instagram or just sent a DM. A DM is not a, it's a message, but it's not a message. Like to me, it's not an email.
Yeah, it's not an email.
I get excited when my clients send me emails because I'm like, that means you thought about this thing.
You're serious. Yeah, you're serious.
You click that button that says send me an email, and you took the time to write it out. Not like, hey, how much for a shoot? That was. My mom doesn't even talk to me like that. Like, my mom doesn't even talk to me like that. But you know, those type of things are where we can take it and just kind of build an off social media type of backup. You know, so you have some longevity, which is what people don't play for. We play the trend. We play to be viral. We don't play to like be around 10, 15 years.
We play the now game, not the long game.
As my dad says, that microwave generation.
Yeah.
Where you just throw it in the microwave, boom. You don't want to put nothing in the oven and let it simmer, you know, and get all the flavors and get it correctly. You just want, how quick can I get this?
Yeah. So touching on that, so what would be your advice for creators to, you know, play the long game versus, you know, the microwave game? So what would you say to them? Like, what would be some advice that you would give them?
You gotta invest your time.
Okay.
You gotta invest your time in being patient. Just because somebody else got on or somebody else got signed or somebody else had a show and it was successful, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your time to do it. Like so many people rush out and try to do something and are disappointed by the outcome of it, but they don't really understand it. It might not have been your time. You're gauging your successes or your failures or mistakes or whatever by what's happening to somebody else. Stay focused on the fact that you gotta be patient and invest time. There's no book that's gonna get you there in 20 days. There's no it's like what happens for one person is not gonna happen for other people. I can use myself as an example. I'm around photographers that have been photographers for longer than I've been a photographer, and they don't have any of the things or accolades that I have. That's what worked for me. I mean, it's gonna work for you. So let's not try to do that. But what you can do is be patient, invest in time, and then invest in what we don't, knowledge. Knowing something, having a teachable skill, knowing something will get you so much further than just guessing. I use it as an example. I just used this the other day that when I taught my class Photography Essentials, I told people that people have a misconception of what creative means. And they think that it means you're just supposed to pop up and figure it out. As a creative, pop up and figure it out. And I said in the class, I said, there's a quote in this book right here, Photographers on Photography. I don't remember who it's by, but it basically says that you should set parameters. There's no rules, but there are parameters. Meaning inside of this frame, we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And we can all go for whatever we want to do. But this is this is where we're setting ourselves to be inside of. As creatives, it's no box. I'm putting me in a box. Right. I'm just do whatever. I'm gonna set this light up and this is gonna be what it's gonna be. Wow.
Shouldn't be like that.
Wow. Because here's the problem. When it doesn't turn out to be what you want it to be, because you let it be what it's gonna be, you're now upset. Now things fall short. Or you can't even recreate what you just did if you did it right. Yeah. Because you just winging it. You gotta kind of find the balance and creativity. Real creatives have methods. They have where they start at. And then they go off from there. Some of my favorite work is when I had a stylist put clothing together, but then I built the set an hour before the shoot. But I had parameters. I already had part of what I needed to be successful. We have to think what do we need to be successful? And that comes partially from taking time to invest in knowing things. And it's crazy to me because partially you could get most stuff online. Yeah. So researching isn't hard. But if you're a person that doesn't really, there are people that don't really get that online stuff. They need to be tangibly in the room. Yeah. And, you have to invest in that. It's not always going to be free. It's you have to spend money to make money?
Yes.
Yes. You want to make $1 million? Try spending $1,000 on learning something. I mean, it might be more than that, but I'm saying set yourself up knowing. I'm an experienced photographer and I may spend $250 a month on just information that I can have at my fingertips so that I'm able to give information to other people.
Is that why you host the workshops and events that you host here?
Yeah. So the workshops and the events are more okay, maybe you're having trouble finding this information, or maybe it's not regurgitated the way that it's comfortable for you. People that are comfortable with the Taylor Genius brand. So you see my pictures and you'll see my gel work and you're I want to do something like that. That's not necessarily something that they're doing in the class online. Yeah. It's let me show you how I got there. Mm-hmm. But in order for me to do that, what people don't understand is I'm still pulling from the people that do that all day. Yeah. So the gel professionals, I'm going to get knowledge from them, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces and going, all right, so that this is understandable and not too overwhelming, let me give this to my people and then let y'all run with it. Yeah. I'm not going to give y'all all of that because then you'll end up just making that. Mm-hmm. Instead, let me give you the foreground. Let me give you the support beams to the building, and then you can build around that and make whatever structure you want to. So yeah, I mean that's the main reason. Because if you want to build a community full of really really good creatives, you can't just let them have a free for all. You gotta potty train them sometime. They're not dogs and animals. I'm sorry, but you just can't have people running around with their heads cut off, because then you look back and you go, what did these people really learn? if you took yourself out of the equation, could they operate at the same level that they were operating with you in it? Your legacy is about how well other people do. It's not about how well you do.
It's about
Take that to the bank. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
You can do all this stuff in life. You can make $1 billion and nobody's gonna care. Did somebody else make $1 billion off of you? Oh, now we're talking. Like, how many other millionaires did you make? That's a goal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On my list in my career is how many millionaires can I make? It ain't even when can I get my first million. That's crazy, and I need that.
Yeah.
like I need that. It's like, but if I can open 10 galleries with 10 millionaires, you know, like, let's do it.
Right.
So now switching. So now that you mentioned the gallery, switching from being a photographer to being a photography studio owner,
Mm-hmm.
how was the transition for you?
I hated it.
You hated it.
So, and that's just being honest, because like when I started, it was just me, and I wanted to find a place to shoot. The studio I was coming from, one of my dope friends, Sick at Heart. If y'all know who Sick is, I'll make sure y'all get down with my man. Me and him had a studio together. Things didn't work out, and then I came here. And I came here because the studio we had was huge. So it was like, I had the clients with the hair shoots. There was like 12, 15 people. I was like, hey, I can't go back to shooting in my crib. I can't really like hold that amount of feet. I don't even know how I would do that. So like, I gotta find a space. I rapped with my business partner. He was like, you should come down here. I'm basically gonna give you free reign. So for like the first 2 months, it was figuring out the space. You know, like you in a different space. How do I like, you know, maneuver it? And then one of my friends came to me and was like, yo, bro, you got space I could use? Well, it's not really my space. My homie let me, you know, kind of like use it. Then I had a discussion with my business partner. He was like, no, I'm gonna give you full autonomy to like do your thing, like build and do your thing. A year later, we have the gallery. Cause then it was nothing. It was just like the old Glamourville Studios, which was the name of the studio previous that moved up to the Northeast. But so the space had no name, had no identity. And it was like one person at a time, and then I met Dakota. We went from there, but it wasn't my goal. My goal was not to have a studio, be a studio admin, be an owner. Like, it was just like, I need a space to shoot. I need to make this money. Like, I'm in it now. And then it was like, all right, wait. I woke up one day and it was like, don't be that bull. Don't be the guy that you start to get something for yourself and you don't help other people. So just generally helping other people turned into, let's just create a community. Like, I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know if it's gonna work. But you know, I think it's interesting that all of the people in the beginning were handpicked. Like, these are like my homies. That's why when people hear us say stuff like this, the home team, we're not making like a cocky this the circle type of you know like comment. It's more like, yo, we really did this together. Like, I called my mans up. They believed in the dream when it was just white walls, no couches, 3 backdrops, 2 lights. Like, you know, like these are the boys that can really tell you. They can tell you like what was in here in the beginning, how stuff was stored, what was, you know, like these Make Wonders, Dakota, Joy or No. Like, they can really tell you like, yeah, it was cool. Well, by the time Joy came, we were a little bit further along, but you know, even that was just like, all right, this is the thing. I might fail at this though, so you know, we'll see. But and then I figured out that I liked it. Like, I liked the fact that I was helping somebody. Notice I didn't say I liked the fact I was making money, which was the original reason. So somewhere in there, like my mind flipped.
Yeah.
It was like, first it was like, gotta make this money. Then it was like, we gotta help people. We just gotta help people. Like, period. I don't care if I make money.
No, because like going back to you, the reason why you got the studio was because you didn't have a space to shoot at, right? Which is something that I believe a lot of creative people in Philadelphia go through.
Right.
So the fact that you open the space and your mind flipped to, you know, instead of making money, let's help people. Now you got this space, this community that's allowing other creatives to come in and shoot, which is like super, super amazing. Like, I love the work you're doing here. Because now everybody has a space to shoot at. So props to you, man. Props to you, honestly.
I appreciate it. It ain't just me. It's really the members, man. You know, they make it work. They make me want to make it better. You know, make me want to figure out, you know, tweak it a little bit. I think it's really cool that as members, we don't just have photographers. Like there's designers that are members of the studio because they were like, you know what, this makes sense. I'm gonna need a studio to shoot my clothes in,
Exactly.
so I would just become a member, get these hours. Now all I gotta do is get a photographer, and a lot of them probably got like a friend that's a photographer. So they're like, yo, we already got the space and everything. You just pull up. So now financially, you know, the one of the biggest goals of the gallery. That's why the card says creative incubator. In truth, is because like no matter what your creative style is, designer, like makeup artist, you can get a membership and then use that to further your creative journey. Like it's just, I'm floored every time my homies at Park West come up and they're like, yeah, you know, we're gonna do our shoot. They got membership. They come in, they do their shoot, they have fun, and then like, see you next month.
That's it, yeah.
That's it. It's crazy,
Yeah.
but it's like that was not in my head. That was like photographers. Now it's like photographers, designers, makeup artists, and classes. Like what?
Yeah, because creativity is just not being a photographer, being creators, being a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So.
And that's why I say I think 2020 we need to dial back on the word creative in the sense of like, let's not oversaturate it in the sense of, let's define it more.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to do anything, let's really start defining, because there's a difference between a creator and a creative.
Yeah.
Like let's not be so quick to just, you know, creative. Everybody's creative.
Oh, definitely. In their own way.
So that means everybody's a creative. But I'm an individual. Nobody's like me. So there has to be a distinction. And I don't mean that like in a cocky way. I just mean it in like you're a different type of creative.
Yes.
You're a different type of creative. So like there has to be classifications. So if anything, let's start to define ourselves as creatives and not just slapping on creative. What kind of creative are you? You know, where do you fall? And it's okay if it's 20 million of the same creatives. That's fine. Somebody put up a quote the other day. It was like, I don't care if the industry I'm in is oversaturated. I'm about to saturate it some more. That's cool. It's going to be billions of photographers. But if you understand your personal brand of creativity, you'll be fine.
Yeah, you're just gonna make yourself stand out.
Your unique idea, which is going to be a workshop this year. Your unique idea. You need your unique. What's your uniqueness? Like, you know, and that's what a lot of photographers struggle with. Creators in general, but we're talking about photography studios. So photographers struggle with the fact that there's 12 other people that do the exact same thing you do.
Yeah.
But the gallery strives because there's 20 other people here that do the exact same thing you do, but nobody does the thing the same. So we're showing you it's possible. Like, one of the main reasons that the people were drafted the way, that's a really harsh word, with Trump. But it'll make more sense. And I do say drafted because, like, we'll take Joy, for instance. We literally, like, recruited Joy in a way, which was fun, you know, on the gallery page. Hey, we wonder when Joy and Nall's going to come through. Joy and Nall, we need you in the studio. Yeah. You know, it was like sending the little airplane with the little sign. Joy and Nall, we need you in the studio. Then one day she came through and she's like, I just really want to be a part of it. Yeah. You know, we started the gallery with the idea of supporting photographers that didn't even shoot here. Yeah. We were posting content and shouting out photographers that didn't shoot here, weren't even from Philly. And then a couple of the photographers that shoot here now were like at other studios and were like, yo, y'all just showed me mad love. So I ended up, you know, coming through. Back, yeah. Right. So like in 2020, we're gonna get a little more creative with that. So when I said drafted, I didn't mean like into the army, but we had some cool like visuals with like some of our newer members on the draft day.
Okay. What's one thing that you look for in a creator or a photographer that makes you want to be like, hey, I want you to be part of my team?
Something that I haven't seen before. Like, you know, I'm always looking for like, is this angle, this lighting, what's the story behind this? I'm a story guy. Yeah. So like when I look at an image, I'm like, whoa, wow, this could mean a whole bunch of different things. And I don't even know if they knew it. So like I would see Joy and I'd be like, what in the world? First of all, I was dumbfounded at the fact that she was a model. Wait, well, let's back up. She used to do music. Yeah. Then she's a model. Then like she was a stylist. Like then she take video, and then you a photographer. And I was just like, what in the world? Like crazy. And it was like, wow, you do so much. And it was like that and the fact that it was done well. You know, it's one thing to do a bunch of things, but like, she reminded me of me. Like, you can do a bunch of things, but you can do a lot of things well. And so there's that, but like a uniqueness. Like something, I look at like a technique. They might not even know it's a technique, but I look at like something like a lighting technique and go, huh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have done it like that. That's right, like that's very interesting. A very interesting use of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I'm interested now.
Okay.
You know, so that type of stuff is cool. Or like it could be just something like Sarah. Sarah was at a different studio, but her use of color, her use of like dark tones just spoke, and it was like, wow, I don't even know if she knows like how good she is.
Yeah.
Send her that message. She came for her complimentary 2 hours, never left.
So for new members, you do, well, not new members, but people you want in the
we do some research. Like we do some research. I'll probably do the initial research. Like I follow a bunch of photographers. You ever follow Tito Willow? Alice?
No, I think we do.
Alice? Yeah, she's dope. She's a part of the studio too. He said, you know, like I'll see some work on, and I'm like, yo, this photographer is crazy. I'll kind of, you know, personally look at their page, see where they're shooting at, see if it's like a whole lot in one place, see if it, like, you try to catch the vibe. Like, do they look like they need another place to shoot to? It's never like, can I replace the place that you're shooting at? Like, that's never been my vibe. It's been like, so if they're down in South Philly, where are they shooting at? Like, do they gotta rent something? So it's always also like, it's said like that. Like, we have a template, you know, for our messages and stuff like that. And then they're specialized depending on the type of photographer or whatever. But generally, it's like we're not trying to take you away from wherever you are, but we're here to offer you. Right? There's Zach. Y'all know Zach.
Yeah.
Zach's supposed to be coming through, catching the complimentary too soon. I mean, and the other thing is, the other reason why is because I just love to see what people create in this space.
Right.
Like given the challenge. I don't even care to come back, but
every space is different. So you know, just being able to walk into any space and being able to create is just like, wow, like, you really got it like that. So
and so, you know, that was the reason. Obviously, there's also the part of you want new members, but it was also like getting creatives. Like, I think it was cool to look at the numbers and to say, not members, but over 50 photographers have come through the door in this first calendar year. That might not sound like a lot to people, but for a studio, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of different faces, different people, just trying it out, having to shoot here. Some of them are bigger names, some people was from out of town, you know, but just like, you want that traffic, you want that creative traffic. And so, yeah, I mean, I think recruiting-wise, we just look for something different, people that want to go to the next level, not people that want to be stagnant. And that's why we have a bunch of photographers that's work has elevated, because we kind of were able to tap into the fact that, like, okay, what is it that you don't know, that you need to know, that you want to know, that'll help you be better? And, you know, yeah, that's it.
No, that definitely answers the question in definitely in ways. So you gave us a lot of information. Okay, so as a photographer,
you really got questions.
Yeah. I do actually. I do, man. I do. Come on, gotta come prepared. Special guest. So, could you, for you as a photographer, right? Somebody that has worked for many different magazines, many different, you know, big names in the industry. What would you say for you is like your 5-star experience, your best experience ever?
I told this story before already. That's why I told y'all. I might have told y'all this already. My 5-star experience is not like a major experience though. And that's what's funny. But I thought I told you this. So most people that are in like my inner circle now is born with cerebral palsy. So one of my goals was like, yo, I gotta do something for like the Cerebral Palsy Foundation. And the time I got the email and they were like, the Philadelphia chapter of the International Cerebral Palsy Foundation would like you to come shoot X, Y, and Z. I literally almost cried. Like, I was like, see, like, this is what I mean when I mean, like, this is life-changing. Like, all the other stuff, And there's a lot of really dope stuff that I can pull from. But we're talking about like stuff that defines you. Like you want that defining moment. It was like, yo, I gotta be doing the right thing. Cause like, how else does this line up? And like, I was ready to do it for free, and the lady was like, how much do you charge? And I was like, I was just gonna do it. Now, granted, I never cashed the check. The check's probably still in like one of my drawers. I couldn't do it. They got their content or whatever. But that was like the moment. It was like, bro, and it was the moment because I'm sitting there with kids, and they're like, "You're a professional photographer," and I'm like, you know, and your cheesy is, "You can do it too." And your cheesy is anything you want. You can be the president, like, because you really can. You know, like at that age. I mean, I didn't have the same type of upbringing, but like, you want somebody that's gonna be to tell you like, yeah, you can really do whatever you want to. Like it's possible. It's not something that I get to say often or that I like promote, but being an internationally published, the only internationally published photographer with cerebral palsy, it's like a really serious thing. Mm-hmm. But it's like a wake up call too, because it's like, yo, you gotta work hard to do that. Like you really gotta work hard to do that. You gotta work over some hurdles, and I feel like the fact that I got to show some kids that like you can do it. You can work through the hurdles. It's possible, and make a life out of it, like a life that you're happy about. Not just I do it as a hobby because I gotta go to this other job, you know, that I don't really like. No, I own a studio, you know, like that type of cool stuff. So that was like the moment. I was like there before I even went. I was like almost in tears. I called my mom immediately. I don't think I called my mom immediately or anything else. Like any other like really cool thing. They found out like after the fact. Like it'd be a billboard or like a magazine. I might like send it to my mom, and then she like, parents photocopies it and mails it to everybody. You like, my aunt called me one time. I was in a magazine and she was like, "Yeah, so your mom told me just keep what." So like that stuff is like there's cool stories, but you mean like life-defining moments.
Something that really means a lot to you. So
now it's like goal through 2020. Like I need to be in New York at the international office. Like how can I help? Like there's a big like Disabilities Fashion Gala that they hold in New York. I need to be that photographer. I don't even shoot events no more, but I need to be that photographer.
Because it means a lot to
me. Because it means a lot to me. So it's like, that's what I really want for creatives. Like all this other stuff, like when people ask me questions like, yo, so I had a photographer ask me, yo, so like, how do I get in Vogue? There's a couple of ways. None of them really like the easiest. Some of them are happenstance. Also depends on where in the magazine we're talking about. There's like the advertisement section. Then there's like full spreads. There's a lot of different places. Some of that stuff you got to be contracted for. Some of that stuff as a photographer through an agency. Some of that stuff you could ring up, pay a couple $, and end up in it. Like it just depends. But the craziest part is none of that will specifically make you money. None of that will specifically like take you to the next level. You want stuff that defines you in a way that takes you to the next level. Like for me, once I did that, it was like, all right, man, I'm approved now. Like I felt more approved than getting a blue check on Instagram, which is on the way, hopefully. But but like that's what I'm saying. Like we have to figure out why we're doing what we're doing, because then it defines those moments. Like the rooms that you sit in that are like corporate rooms, and they're like you'll be in a meeting with Nike, and you're like, feel like I made it. 2 years later, if that contract up, you still gonna feel like you made it?
No.
Like you get in a major magazine, and then have you on your Instagram as seen in Vogue. That Vogue issue only lasts a month. Yeah. I mean, it's in the archives, so you can always go back and buy it. Of course, what I'm saying is, what are you doing next? Like, how did that define the trajectory? Like, are you going to go up from here? That's why a lot of photographers that I know, like, they'll do some cool stuff. They'll, like, put it in a group text message, or, like, they'll have a moment, but, like, stuff that has way less, like, value on the level of, like, big name stuff is more, like, pleasing. For instance, I'll give you an example. I remember when I first started as a photographer, There's a magazine called Elements. Ever heard Elements magazine?
I have that.
It's a New York magazine. The dude that runs it is really cool. He was like a curator, and he decided he wanted to open a magazine. And like when I started as a photographer, all the dope photographers was in Elements. Like they was just like in there. And he was like, yeah. And I remember like the first 2 years, I was like, yeah, my work, no, they gonna just tell me no. Like, you know, it's just, you know, I remember the day, and it actually it was probably, what, maybe 8 months ago. It was while when we opened the gallery. I did a shoot with one of my homies, and I submitted it to Elements. But like, at the time I submitted it to Elements, like the maturity in my spirit from when I started was different. It was like, these joints fire. They don't take them crazy. As opposed to like, when I started, like, they don't want my shit anyway. Like, they don't want it, they just don't want it. And it was like an immediate acceptance. Like, I don't even know if it was like 3 hours passed.
And then you got them.
Right. So now, like, having, like, to me, being in Elements magazine, because it was something in the beginning I thought I couldn't do, means more than something I didn't even, like, that wasn't even on my mind. When I first started, like, my first year, being in a Vogue magazine in any capacity wasn't on the list. Like, it wasn't like one of those things that was like, you know, since I was a young lad, we'd be in Vogue magazine. Once it happened, it was like, all right, bro, let's see if we can get immortal. Like, then you come up with like a competition in between yourself, but then you also realize that that's not a day-to-day sustain you type of thing. Yeah. So it has to go in a certain category. So as creatives, we gotta realize like, yo, let's have sustainable goals and things that we like just want to happen if they can happen. Mm-hmm. I remember my sister, my god sister, she was like, you should have a Vogue party.
For what?
Why? Yeah. But like, cause to people it's an accomplishment. Because it is. Yeah. But it's like I've always been to it. Like I said, that issue gonna pass real quick, and it's gonna be like, what have you done lately? Not what you did in 2018, whatever. Like, you know. So it was always like, what's the next thing I can do? When I took a break from photography, a little hiatus, last year, it was because I wanted the photo studio to work. Like I wanted the gallery to be a thing. And it was like, most people thought I went and got a day job. I told you couldn't hack it. Told you he was just biting off of everybody else trending, you know. And now they changed the algorithm. He done hopped out. I'll tell you, the one thing I tell people is the likes and stuff might go up and down, but I did a whole lot of work in my first 2 years on Instagram. My number of followers stayed constant. And I will say that in the sense of like, you remember the wave of buying followers and likes and stuff like that. That's been shut down. the algorithm, all the stuff that they got going on. And it's like, I told people then, but I think it's still proof, like it's more proof now that like, they was like, yo, Bull went from like 500 followers to like 30K in like 2.5 years. And I still, with not posting for 4 months, have the same amount of followers. I mean, I got a couple more now, but I'm saying like, you know, generally speaking, that was built the hard way. So there is no, what I'm saying is there's no easy, like, it's always gonna come out. I don't care if I got 20 likes to a photo. Like, I don't know what my 30,000 followers at today, they might not be, maybe I'm at the bottom of your timeline because I ain't posted in 4 months. Like, it's possible. But if that's your worry, then you're not doing it the right way. Like, I'm putting stuff on Instagram because I enjoy it. I want some people to see work. And then I do want to start to engage my, you know, following again. You know, let's get back into it. But we let that overconsume us. We do. And it's like, all right, well, you know, the easiest thing for us to do is to really be hip to where we want to go. Like, and where I want to go is not social media. I want to be sitting back in the office, Jay-Z style, I guess, with my homies. Like, yeah, you see the interviews they be having with Jay-Z. He be on like a black couch. Yeah. And it'd be like some random dude like interviewing him. It'd be like not random, like random important dude. He's just like, yeah, so Sean, so tell me, you know, what do you think about 40/40? And Jay-Z be like, well, man, you know, I always try to tell people. And it's always like some cool like rabbit out the hat quote that becomes like viral because Jay-Z said it. You gotta work hard. and hard you gotta work. and then you see it as a meme, and they're like, yo, that's the hardest thing I heard all year. Really?
But it's so simple.
Right, it's
so
so
simple.
I mean, but that's almost everything. All of these self-help books and all of this stuff that you get is really what we would call common sense in action.
Yeah.
We know how to make money, but we don't want to look at ourselves transparently to like do it. As a person, I know Taylor Genius, the brand, could be further. I could be in corporate. I could be doing other things, but I'm scared to death of it. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You gotta look at yourself, and like I told you before the interview, like I know my issue with like when I feel like people have taken what I say for granted or what I'm doing for granted. I initially shut down. I'm not going to succeed at $1 million till I fix that.
Yeah.
You know, like you gotta have that moment. Now that don't mean you gotta go back and do the 12 steps and contact everybody. I'm so sorry for that. But it means like you have to fix it going forward. So whether it's for me creating 1 million templates and frequently asked questions and all these things to what I may think is common sense for my clients, you want $1 million? Better do it. It's that simple. You want to be a photographer and a photographer only? It's going to require you just to not be creative, floating with the wind. Because even the people you think floating with the wind have some type of structure. Because you're seeing it in structured form by seeing if you see a video of a person that's like, I just look at fabrics and I put my set together. You know how structured it had to be for them to bring it to you? Meaning like you're seeing a video of this by some company, which means there was a videographer, which means they planned that out, which means that at some point it was scripted and thought out. Mm-hmm. But you're like, no, see, I need to do that.
Structure, like you said.
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. You gotta prep. You gotta do what you gotta do, and that's the thing with like creators nowadays. Like they don't want to do what they gotta do.
You want the fun part of it. Yeah. Once it starts to get a little stressful, it's like I'm gonna check out. What job can I get? Mm-hmm. And then they come back 6 months later. I took some time off, got myself together, now I'm back. But that 6 months could cost you a lot. Literally, especially if you was like buzzing or something like that,
right.
You had a little, and you was like, yeah, it's not making me the money I wanted to make. That's why I tell people, unless you got a plan, don't quit your job to become a photographer. Keep your job. Use it as a means to help you build up your photography. Get a membership to something that has classes. Get the equipment that you feel like you need because you got a job and you got a check and it'll help you get it. Don't just hop in the deep end. Yeah. It doesn't work for everybody. Like, a broken clock is right twice a day. You might not be one of those twice a days. Like, even a blind squirrel can find a nut. That's what they say. Like, so it's possible. There are success stories, but we cling to them success stories like, how can I do what you did? You don't want to do what I did. You want to do what you can do.
Okay, so we only have one question left for you. Mm-hmm. What do you have in store for 2020 as a photographer? Photography studio owner, and just as a leader in the Philadelphia creative community?
Well, I just want to expand, as a studio owner and as a creative, expand people's knowledge on the education of the field of creativity, period. Give people more tools to be able to kind of like do what it is they want to do. More information. That's a big goal this year. It's going to be an educational goal for us as a studio and as like a leader in the industry. We want to change the way, people get information, make it more accessible and more tangible. As a photographer, the price done going up, as the kids say. Creativity is going to be at a different level. So I'm going to be challenging myself this year to do some things that are like way deep in my Pinterest boards and all of that. There's some stuff that's going to take some time, a whole lot of cool set designs. I'm bringing back a whole bunch of stylists and designers. So it's going to be interesting because it's going to be like the next level of stuff. Got some agency work, but I'm just really excited to do some cool things, some favorite photos reimagined type of stuff too. So that's me in 2020. That's the studio in 2020. Hopefully more versus situations.
Definitely, for sure.
Maybe an event or two.
Yeah, that's in the works, definitely. In the next couple of months, we should have something out. So
yeah, so hopefully that stuff happens and we see a lot more of you guys. That's the real plan.
What would you say to the up and coming creators?
don't stop creating, don't stop redefining and defining and better like honing your craft. Like there's no timetable. Don't think that you have to do it on somebody else's time. Don't think that you have to do it the way somebody else did it. Be persistent. Don't take no as an answer. Sometimes you just gotta keep ramming it until it makes sense. And be teachable. You know, the last thing and most important thing is to be teachable. Allow people to help you get where you want to get. Build a support system. Have people around you. Don't just have a bunch of yes people. Be accountable so that you can be better than you were the day before and better than you were the day before that.
Power to the creators.
Power to the creators.
And there you have it. That was Taylor from the gallery. Thank you so much for having us here today and for
Thanks for
giving us
having
your
me.
time. Yep.
Have a good one, man.
You too, man.